Hello. One of the things that I really miss on my keto journey is cornbread. I love blueberry cornbread muffins. So today I'm going to try a cornbread recipe. Now I could add blueberries to it, but I want to try the recipe as is first, and then maybe, another time I'll make it and add those blueberries to it. I have sprayed a 9 by 9 pan with some nonstick spray. It's olive oil nonstick spray. And I am preheating my oven to 350 degrees. I'm going to start with my butter. I need 5 tablespoons of butter, or 1/4 cup plus 1 tablespoon. But it's nice to use my stick butter because it just has those measurements right on there for me. Super easy. And I'm going to be using this glass bowl as my mixing bowl, but it also will go in the microwave, right? Like it's a microwave safe bowl. So I'm going to put my butter in there, and then it'll just automatically be there for when I start mixing things together. So I want to use short intervals. Anytime that you're melting butter in the microwave, you want to use short intervals. My butter has been in the refrigerator, so my first interval is going to be a minute long, but then after that, it'll be 20, maybe even 10 seconds to 30 seconds, just kind of depending on how it's going. So while that's happening, I'm going to get together my flour and baking powder. I need 1.5 cups of almond flour. And I'm not using, and the recipe doesn't call for it. The recipe does not call for ultra fine almond flour. And it could be, I'm just guessing, but it could be because when you have, you know what, I'm actually just going to use my 1/2 cup measuring cup because it's going to fit in my container better. When you have cornbread, right, it's a little mealy. And so I'm thinking that maybe using like not super fine sifted or ground almond flour will kind of help to have that same texture. So there's 1/2 cup and 2 1/2 cups, and then you just need one more 1/2 cup. And I'm getting low on my almond flour. All right, so I've got 3 1/2 cups or 1.5 cups. Okay, and then check my butter. And it's pretty melted. I might be able to just kind of swirl this around and get the rest of that butter all melted down. Yes, that looks great. Okay, I'm just going to let this sit and cool. I do need to add my eggs to it, so I don't want it to be really hot when I do that. So I'm just going to allow that to cool while I take some more steps here. I need my baking powder. I need 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. So I'm just going to use my 1/2 teaspoon 3 times. And I need to whisk these together. Okay, and then I need, this is what's going to make it cornbread because corn is really high in carbs. Where did I put it? Oh, here it is. Corn is really high in carbs, so I can't actually use like corn like I normally would for cornbread, or cornmeal, which is, also high in carbs. So instead, they have corn extract. So that's what I have here. So it's, basically like vanilla extract, but it's corn extract. And I need a teaspoon of this. There we go. All right, so I need 1 teaspoon. So I've got my teaspoon measuring spoon. There we go. All right, so 1 teaspoon of my corn extract. Okay, and then for my, ooh, it smells like cornbread. Yummy. And then I need to add in, carefully moving my eggs, add in my powdered sugar swerve. It doesn't have to be swerve. That's not what my recipe calls for. It just calls for a powdered sugar sweetener. So I'm going to use swerve and see what I think of it, I guess. So I need 1/3 of a cup of my swerve. I'm going to get that in there, and I am just going to kind of blend these together just to help get any lumps out. Okay, and then I can add my eggs. So I need 4 eggs. Okay, and then okay, and then we can add the flour to our liquid mixture, but I want to do that with my rubber scraper. This looks good. It looks like cornbread batter, so that's fantastic. Okay, so I'm just going to get this into my pan. And the recipe calls for using an 8x8 pan, which I don't have, so I'm using a 9x9 pan. And it says to bake it for 25 to 27 minutes. So because I am using a bigger pan, it's not going to be as thick, and I'm not probably going to need to cook it as long. So I will actually check this at probably 15 minutes, which I think is probably going to be a little early, but I just want to make sure that I'm not burning it or anything. So I'll check it a little early and see how long it takes. Get it spread out as evenly as I can. All right, I can get this in my oven. This is how it turned out after 25 minutes. There is a light browning around the edges, but it's not browned on top. So it doesn't look as delicious, but hopefully it is delicious. I need to cut this into 12 pieces. That's how you get the right like serving size, which I am terrible at. Like I've already messed up. I don't know why I'm so bad at cutting things into even portions. I should, if I was smart going this way, I should cut it in half and then cut each of those in half, but whatever. Okay, so I'm going to give this a try. It doesn't taste like cornbread. It kind of has cornbread texture. Like you do get that kind of almost graininess to it, and it's not bad, but the flavor is definitely not cornbread. It almost tastes more like vanilla cake or banana bread. Like when I first bite into it, I get banana bread. And then it kind of dissipates into this flavor that isn't the best. Um, like fake vanilla. And then you end up with kind of just this like mealy kind of texture in your mouth with like an off kind of flavor. So at first it's okay, but it doesn't taste like cornbread at all. It tastes more like banana bread. But kind of that aftertaste, like it's almost like raw cornmeal is kind of the taste that you end up with. It's not the best. I think I might try it with like some butter and just see if that kind of helps to kind of cover that up. Yeah, it's still like a banana bread and then like a vanilla cake. And then you get that like cornbread feel to it. And it's definitely better with the butter. That's for sure. To just, it really just kind of like covers up whatever flavor that is, which is probably the corn extract that is just kind of not right. And so then you end up with more of like, okay, I just ate cornbread, where where before it was like just the mealy kind of like texture and kind of an off flavor. But with the butter, it does make it feel a bit more like a cornbread, but it definitely does not start out as a cornbread. So it's okay. I know that we will eat it. I'm not sure that this is a recipe that I would try again. I do have another cornbread recipe that I want to try, so that'll probably be the one that I try next.